Vikings. Last year there were 30,000 Packer fans, and they kind of overrode the Lion rooters here. This year there are fewer Packer fans and they're more scattered, as the Lions organization kind of upset that for a Detroit home game you heard a lot of Green Bay crowd.
I think the funny thing was they said, okay, we'll cut your tickets back and we're going to spread you out all over the place.
But I saw a group together with a lot of those cheeseheads. Lions will get the ball first. Glenn Milburn is back to receive. And Ryan Longwell kicks off for the Packers. It is a short kick. And Milburn on the 10 muffs the ball. And Milburn recovers and brings it out to the 25. A good recovery by Glenn Milburn. And the quarterback, Scott Mitchell, heard the boos from the crowd when he was introduced before the game. That's not going to do much for his psyche. Last week had a disastrous game, including being sacked 5 times. The offensive line, and Kevin Glover, the veteran, in the middle. Larry Tharp will have his work cut out at right tackle. The incomparable Barry Sanders and Herman Moore, 2 of the aces in the backfield and on the receiving end for the Lions. Barry Sanders' first carry, and he gets a couple. Defensively for the Packers, and a defensive line featuring the veteran Reggie White. Gilbert Brown, shaken up last week, back in the lineup. Bernardo Harris having a terrific season at middle linebacker for the Packers. And the change, Roderick Mullen for Doug Evans at cornerback. Tyrone Williams had replaced Craig Newsome. 2nd down and 8 on the Lion 26. And a play fake. Rolling out is Mitchell, and the pass was intended for Metzelar as the tight end. Incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
In order for this Detroit Lion offense to do well today, the guy who has to play well is Scott Mitchell. And that's kind of a given in every offense, but today even more so, and here's why. What's going to happen is there's going to be a delicate balance between helping the wide receivers and the run game against Barry Sanders with Leroy Butler. It's going to be Mitchell's job to be able to recognize that and make the change at the line of scrimmage and go to the same people, the right people.
Packers allowed a touchdown a week ago to the Vikings. Unusual for them. 3rd down and 8. Mitchell gets time, and his pass to Herman Moore, who turns around and makes a great catch, but is short of the first down by about a yard. Leroy Butler was covering the tall Herman Moore.
And you see the great catch, and you go out, unbelievable, but guess what? No first down, so that's a plus for the defense. See, they win. They have to get the ball into the hands of Herman Moore if he's going to do well, especially consider the fact that you have backup corners in there.
John Jett will kick it away. You saw Scott Mitchell looking up at the replay, but Moore did not come close to getting to the sticks. Derek Mays back to receive the punt. Bill Schrader, who had fumbled twice in the last 2 weeks, has lost his job temporarily. And a good kick by Jett. Mays inside his 15. Turning the corner and ridden out of bounds by George Jameson. 55-yard punt by Jett, and Brett Favre, who broke Bart Starr's all-time touchdown record for a Packer, throwing 5 last week against the Vikings. He's having another MVP season. John Michaels getting the nod over Ross Verba at left tackle. And
changing the play. Tipped and caught by Herman Moore. Great hands by Moore, and he gets it to the 49-yard line. Seth Joyner and Doug Evans were both out there.
You know, Herman Moore just doesn't get the same kind of respect that a Chris Carter does, but you see a similar type of a receiver, a big guy who can really concentrate on the football. Watch how he works against Doug Evans. He knows what he needs. He stays with the route. Ball goes up in the air. He just hangs with it. Then he knows where the first down marker is.
He has always caught the ball with his hands. That allows him to make those kind of plays. Play action by Mitchell. Moore wide open, and he's overthrown. As Evans lost his balance and went down. People usually criticize the quarterback on that play, Joe, but by the time the defender's fallen down, he's already thrown it.
It is, and the thing is when the guy is so close as Evans was and has been with Moore, you feel that pressure. All of a sudden, he disappears. It becomes a feeling for Herman Moore, like, where did he go? What happened? And you slow down a little bit, too.
Second down near midfield. Opening drive of the ball game. Mitchell throws to Morton this time, and a very short gain is wrapped up by Tyrone Williams.
Scott Mitchell was not off to a very good start this year. First 4 games he was pressing by his own admittance. He said, I didn't work very hard, and it reflected the first quarter numbers as well. 5 interceptions. He kept trying to make plays. The last 4 weeks you talked to him, he said, I've settled down. I'm just letting the plays come to me. He's got a great supporting cast, and he's finally realizing it.
First third down play on this drive. You saw his quarterback rating, the worst in the first quarter in the NFL. But he has heated up remarkably after that. Boyd is in as the third wide receiver. Mitchell throws short and complete, about 2 yards shy of a first down. Moore makes the catch, but Brian Williams was right there. And they'll have to kick it away. John Jett, the former Cowboy punter, and Bill Schrader is back along with Mike Pryor. Schrader, who has taken over the job of Desmond Howard this year and doing very, very well at it, as Howard has struggled with the Raiders. Let this one go over his head, and the Lions are downfield to stop it inside the 2. A 42-yard kick. Robert Bailey down on special teams for no return.
Look at him. A Lincoln at 18.
So you got your own shoe, huh?
So this kid's playing an NBA.
So you won the slam dunk contest. Just believe in yourself.
Two tickets, $28. 2 hot dogs, 2 popcorns, and 2 sodas, $18. 1 autographed baseball, $45. Real conversation with 11-year-old son, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Accepted all over, even Major League ballparks.
Bill, you forgot the recycling.
Bill's always been one to do his part for the environment. That's why he drives the new LEV Accord from Honda. It meets a 70% lower emission standard than regulations require, without any sacrifice in performance.
Nice legs!
Thanks, Bill.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by the irresistible taste that makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's? By MasterCard. MasterCard, the future of money. And by Honda. Honda's commitment to the environment is another result of Honda thinking.
Green Bay starts its first offensive possession in a deep hole from its own 3-yard line. They come out in the eye. Dorsey Levens with the carry, stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Mike Wells led the charge. Packers offense led by Brett Favre. He's on a pace for his 4th straight 30-touchdown season. No one's ever done that before. Dorsey Levens has come up big as a full-time back, 4th in the NFC in both rushing and yards from scrimmage. And up front, Ross Verba has gone from drawing Mike Holmgren's wrath as a holdout to winning the job at left tackle. Offensive coordinator Sherman Lewis. Not his favorite place to start a ball game. 2nd and 10 from the Green Bay 3. Favre to throw from his own end zone, and it's batted down. Pressure from Robert Bailey, a corner.
And that's what happens when you go 3 wides, Mike. You spread out the defense. You also allow the corners to come up close. You see him coming. He does a nice job of timing his leap as Brett wants to get rid of the ball quickly to the tight end.
Bailey, a backup to the rookie Bryant Westbrook at left corner in here in the nickel package. Third and 10 for Green Bay. Favre to throw again. Antonio Freeman gets near the 12-yard line. He will be short of a first down. Good coverage by Corey Raymond.
Good quickness by the Detroit Lions secondary reacting to the throw. That's a throw that you make, and you want the receiver to pick up the rest of the yards. It's a safe throw. It gets you away from the goal line a little bit, and you hope that that receiver can make a play for you.
Hendrick comes on to punt. Had a great average this year, 45.7, second in the conference. Milburn, who has really picked up his play in the last 4 or 5 weeks, takes it at the 36. Has a seam and got near the 47-yard line. Mike Pryor down on special teams along with Frank Witters, the center. 11 Packers had a bye week. Mike Holmgren did one unusual thing, really. He let the players go for the entire week, and then he had the coaches do something a little unusual, too.
Well, the first thing he did with the players, Mike, is he let them go. He wanted them to get away from the game and just mentally get relaxed a little bit. He felt like they were pressing. Now, as far as the coaches go, they stayed around a little while, and they evaluated not only the offense, but they evaluated Mike as well. And one of the things they come up with, they said, hey, Coach, you've been pushing the team a little hard. He said, okay, now let's get on to some other things.
Sanders dancing around, dives forward near the 48-49-yard line.
That bye week came at a very good time for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they were a football team that really didn't understand what happens when you go from a Super Bowl through an offseason right into a preseason. They got a better feel for it as the season went on, but they were still physically tired. The bye week gave them a chance to both get physically and mentally back to the game.
Well, things were different. Mike Holmgren pushed a little bit harder from the start of training camp. The players said they weren't having nearly as much fun, even when things were going well. 2nd and 7. Mitchell's had excellent protection all night. Throws Morton, and he should have a first down at the Green Bay 43-yard line. Tyrone Williams on the coverage again.
That time he fumbled the ball out of bounds. Scott Mitchell with the short sets. We constantly hear about Brett Favre's short sets. Here's a little quick set. Offensive line doing an excellent job. Johnny Morton working real hard against Tyrone Williams. Now he's got to put the ball away because it gets knocked out. Good thing it went out of bounds.
Mitchell has hit 6 out of 7 so far for 36 yards. Barry. Reggie White got him before he reached the 40. People want to keep burying Reggie White. You still don't see them run his way, and you still don't dare block him with one guy.
You know, it's very interesting, Mike. Reggie White is a little like Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders can run for 1 yard or 2 yards, and all of a sudden there comes a big play. Reggie White doesn't really show up, and all of a sudden, bang, he's in the middle of the football field making a play. So, you know, he just shows up at the perfect time to help his team out.
Like the Super Bowl last year?
That was something I was thinking of.
Mitchell overthrows Moore, and again, excellent coverage by Doug Evans.
You know what, Mike? Tyrone Williams drew a lot of deep passes against New England on Monday night last week. What happens here is it looks like the Detroit Lions have decided they're going to test Doug Evans. They're not just going after Williams. They're going after the veteran, the guy that's been out there. They're putting their horse out against Green Bay's.
Doesn't that show a lot of confidence in your offensive players?
Absolutely.
3rd and 8. The ball at the Packer 41. Detroit with its second offensive series. Pressure. Mitchell unloads, and Morton went down to make the catch. How important will the spot be? He looks short. Morton tried to stretch it out after he got by Tyrone Williams. Hey, this is great coverage, great throw, and a great catch.
And this kid is something special. He works real hard against Tyrone Williams, just hanging on to it, but he still presses inside, then goes down to get the ball and cradles it. Look at this catch. You're going to see somebody cradles it, gets his arms underneath it and his hands so that it's not an incompletion, and the Lions are going to go for it. And I think this is absolutely the right call by Bobby Ross.
Tommy Vardell comes in on 4th down as a lead blocker. Play action. Wide open. Schlesinger in the flat. Corey Schlesinger bulls his way to the 1. 33 yards, and they really crossed them up on 4th and short. That's a heck of a play.
You know what they did? They got in the huddle. They made a quick call. They got the motion, and they got the ball out. They did everything real quick before Green Bay could react. Green Bay guys moving around a lot. Good little play action. Scott Mitchell does a nice job of putting it out there. Schlesinger makes the catch and turns it up the field.
Vardell is the tailback behind Schlesinger on 1st and goal. Tommy Vardell. The Lions have their arms raised, and now the officials do. Touchdown Detroit.
Well, Mike Holmgren can't be real happy, and I'll tell you why, Mike. This game is a very physical game. It was the last time they played. It is now. Right now, Detroit's winning the physical nature of it. Because down around the goal line, it's just a question of pushing people around. And right now, the Lions are pushing the Packers around. They get below them. They create the crease. And Vardell does an excellent job of running and getting it in the end zone. Corey Schlesinger with the big play to get him down there.
Jason Hansen comes on for the point after, and the Lions draw first blood. Lions here in Green Bay. We'd like to thank the Pennzoil Copter Cam for tonight's aerials of Lambeau Field. The steam is already rising off the skull of Santana Dotson.
And I think it's rising off of Fritz Shermer's head, too.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator of the Packers.
Hansen to kick off to Hayden and Schrader. Schrader, the former decathlete from Wisconsin lacrosse, stopped before he got to the 20-yard line. Richard Jordan. Prime Monday tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern as Mark Malone, Joe Theismann, and Sterling Sharp preview the Monday night game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll have live reports from Arrowhead Stadium, Chris Mortensen and the latest NFL news, and Leslie Visser goes backstage with Pro Bowl linebacker Derek Thomas. Tomorrow night, Prime Monday. Packers will start from their own 19, down by a touchdown, first quarter against Detroit. Favre dumps it to Levens right through his hands. For Detroit's defense, Robert Porcher has become a dominant pass rusher. His 8 sacks, ranked 4th in the NFL. Reggie Brown has become a star in his 2nd year. He's averaging over 10 tackles a game and has a pair of interceptions for touchdowns. And the Lions spent their first-round draft choice on Bryant Westbrook to upgrade the secondary. He has excellent speed and is a solid tackler. Porcher loves to come from the outside at that left end spot. Henderson. Nice hole up the middle for Henderson. Dragging people within to the 28-yard line.
Well, that's a bit of a cross-up, too, Mike, because Henderson's only touched the ball 16 times so far this year. But Jeff Dallenbach, the left guard, does a nice job on Luther Ellis, number 94. Watch number 67. Comes around, does a nice job, creates the hole. There it is. Henderson goes up inside and shows his athletic ability. A little bit of hurdle action.
And Dellenbach, who has played all 5 spots on the offensive line, starting tonight for the injured Aaron Taylor. 3rd and short. They go with 2 tight ends. Levens behind Henderson. Breaks it. Dorsey Levens out of bounds at the 46-yard line. A gain of 19 for the NFC's fourth leading rusher.
Michael, so often in short yardage is when you get your big runs because everybody is so close to the line of scrimmage. This is just an excellent job by the left side. They collapse everything. Carrier comes up. Henderson does a good job of creating the hole. And then Levens just takes it up inside. And then he just gets on with his 19 yards.
Dorsey Levens has gained more yards rushing this year than he had his entire career. Favre, the quick strike, and Freeman is planted. Westbrook, we said he was a wicked tackler, and he took his best shot there.
We talked about the first game, about the intensity and the physical nature that Detroit played with. This gives you a sound of what it sounds like. That spanking you heard was Westbrook on Antonio Freeman.
It's a gain of 3. 2nd and 7 at midfield. Levens. A yard and no more. Detroit, not the biggest of defense.
No, they're not by any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, Tracy Scroggins is 255. Kervin Waltrip, 260. The biggest guy there is 300 pounds, Luther Ellis. Mike Wells, 285. Robert Porcher, 270. They get it done up front with a lot of quickness. Larry Peccatello, their defensive coordinator, is one of the most underrated defensive coordinators in the league. He doesn't have a lot of guys. There he is with the glasses on. He just uses a lot of speed and a lot of movement up front.
3rd and 5 for the Pack. Comes the blitz. Favre buying time, throws incomplete. That one was tipped, and Levens couldn't get to it. It looked like Porcher got a finger on it as Stephen Boyd, the middle linebacker, was applying pressure on the quarterback.
And I got to tell you, Mike, Stephen Boyd does a terrific job. Too many people overcommit when they go after Brett Favre. Stephen Boyd took the outside angle and just stopped, and he made Brett Favre throw the football. He didn't commit and allow Brett to get out of contain and make a bigger play.
Hendrick will have to punt again to Glenn Milburn, who waits at his 10. Have to be very impressed by the Lions' defense so far. High snap, but Hendrick gets it down. He gets up a beauty. Fair catch made it to 10. The first time these teams met, Barry Sanders, the kind of a runner, he'll eventually kill you, but he can also lull you to sleep. The little ones don't mean anything, but then your heart rate goes kaboom when he hits one for 46 yards, especially if you're a defensive coordinator. Those spikes will kill you.
Mike Holmgren talked about watching him as he stands on the sidelines, and that's about the way Mike's heartbeat goes half the time.
The crowd really in it. They saw the real Packers a week ago against New England. Sanders with Vardell in front of him. Santana Dotson held him up, and Bernardo Harris finished him off.
Mike, the Packers on defense are doing a good job with Barry Sanders in so much that wherever he goes towards the front side of the play, which is the point of attack, they're being aggressive there. But the backside isn't just running to try and pursue. So they're really more or less corralling him and letting one guy go after him and take a shot.
And you can't stress how important enough it is to have Gilbert Brown back on run defense for Green Bay. 2nd and 11. Mitchell throws underneath. Morton can't handle it because Tyrone Williams was right there.
And that time, Fritz Shermer decided to leave Tyrone Williams one-on-one with no backup help. He just goes mano-a-mano with Johnny Morton on this one. Remember, 5 yards, you can hand fight. Hangs with him. That's a little bit more than a hand fight. It looked like a little bit more, actually looked like a handful of Johnny Morton.
Yes, it did. 3rd and 11. And Fritz Shermer, one of the geniuses in this sport, 3 wide receivers for Detroit. Looked like movement up front, and now Mitchell being chased and sacked. Santana Dotson got there along with Gabe Wilkins.
Ray Roberts, the left tackle, anticipating the snap count, moved out early. That one goes to the fans.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Michael, the left tackles, actually the tackles are the furthest away from the ball. You cannot hear the quarterback. You have to, out of the corner of your eye, keep an eye on the defensive man in front of you and look at the movement of the ball. It is very, very difficult, and will be that way for both tackles of the Lions tonight.
3rd and 16. Mitchell for Herman Moore, and he can't hold it. Doug Evans was right there. What a play by Evans.
Just running step for step with Herman Moore. That's a good call. You get your tall receiver. Well-thrown ball by Scott Mitchell. As Herman comes off, he just tries to plant him and freeze him. A little bit of contact. Now he's playing back for the ball. Doug Evans does a nice job of getting his hands in.
Schrader with a returnable kick. Inside the 30-yard line. Only a 33-yard kick and a 10-yard return. Tony Simple made the tackle on special teams. The previous best start the Packers had was their own 19. This is a lot better than that. Evans, a very physical corner at 6'1". He's got a chance to match up with Moore.
Gets his hand inside and just strips the ball away.
The pressure on Evans to step up in that secondary. They were burned earlier in the year when they couldn't stop the run. That opened up the pass. Their defensive ranking fell near the bottom of the league.
In the first quarter, they've gone after Evans 3 times with deep balls matched up with Herman Moore.
Prolonged discussion on the field after the play.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness during the kick on number 39, receiving team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Mike Pryor for Green Bay flagged for unnecessary roughness, explaining his case on the sideline.
He's number 39. Now, you see the Lion is out of bounds. And he's still out of bounds. And he's trying to come back in. And I don't know what that was for.
I never saw it.
I mean, it looked like if he had his hand on his helmet, it was for like just a millisecond.
When you saw the flag come from behind him, the official may have assumed.
When a guy is out of bounds, you can't go out of bounds to hit him. I think that was very marginal at best, but that was, I'm sure, what the call was.
Well, if that was the call, it was about 6 or 7 seconds afterward. So the Packers moved back to their own 46. Draw play to Levens. Dorsey Levens with a big hole down to the 39. Dorsey Levens had the full-time job this year after sharing it with Edgar Bennett a year ago because Bennett hurt his Achilles in July. And Dorsey Levens, the man on the spot.
Jeff Dellenbach, number 67, doing a terrific job. Drives him down inside. That's Mike Wells, number 95, creating a big hole up the middle.
Levens struggles for maybe 3. There was a question, could Dorsey Levens be the full-time back? Could he hold up physically? He worked out so hard in the offseason.
Mike, I think he's one of the guys that really benefited from the bye week. He is a guy that got so much benefit from it because he didn't have to go all through preseason, all through the first 8 weeks and continue on. This bye week came at a perfect time for the Packers. Guys like Robert Brooks. And also, you know, he had that here as I have this one.
2nd and 7 for the Packers. Their deepest penetration so far tonight. Favre to Freeman. To the 25, first down. Stephen Boyd, the middle linebacker, had to make the stop.
That's what makes Brett Favre so difficult to get to, Mike. He sets real quick. The patterns are 8 to 12 yards, and you got everybody just hooking up. The lanes are created, and the ball is gone.
Mays and Beebe will check in as wide receivers. Both teams really shuffling their personnel. Favre with the ball, touchdown! Robert Brooks!
That is just very simply straight up seams. This is 4 guys running straight down the field. And all Robert Brooks does is just split the seam and wind up going in. Robert Bailey tried to stay with him, but he just couldn't. Boy, if you're going to be that close to Robert Brooks and let him run, you got to get him on the line of scrimmage.
Brooks with his 4th touchdown catch of the year. First half, Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Ron Jaworski, our entire ESPN crew with you from Lambeau. And Robert Brooks catching the touchdown pass from Brett Favre to tie it. Here's we're early in the second period. Longwell to kick it away to Milburn. Nice high floater. Milburn at the 1. Pryor brings him down as he reached the 23. Joe, this was all Brett Favre on the touchdown pass.
It was what it was, Mike. It was an audible at the line of scrimmage. Now, there's a couple ways you can audibilize verbally or with your hands. He's signaling now to Robert Brooks that I want you to run straight up the field. He just pointed to him. He says, listen, you're going to run straight up. I'm going to throw it. He looks the safety off real quick and then just sets and throws it like only he can.
Not much deception involved, just perfect execution.
Exactly.
Sanders straight ahead, a yard and nothing more. Early in the season, Bobby Ross admitted it was easy to get away from running Barry Sanders because he has so many short carries before he breaks one. He says, now I understand. You just keep feeding the guy the football, and eventually he's going to break it.
It was the first 2 games of the year that he got away from it too quickly. What he has learned and what he now understands is you have to be patient with the running game when you have a back of Barry Sanders' unique ability to make plays.
But Green Bay, a year ago, #1 in the NFC in stopping the run. With Gilbert Brown back, they may be that good again. Sanders on 2nd and 9. Breaks this one. Barry Sanders to the 36-yard line. Ray Roberts, Kevin Glover, Mike Compton, the left side of the line, cleared the way.
And this is just a quick hitter. What they do is they try and just open a very quick seam. Just a little gut play off the left and let Barry get through the line. Once he now gets what Fritz Shermer likes to refer to the second level, that's where the linebackers lined up. Then you have to really start to get concerned about that move.
First 6 carries, he had only 9 yards. That last one was for 11. Play action by Mitchell. And past the fullback, Tommy Vardell. The ball whistled past his face mask before he had a chance to turn. And Mitchell was under pressure.
And Tommy Vardell was in no way ready to try and make a play on this ball. Mitchell gets it off down the middle of the football field. Now Vardell tries to turn around and make a play on it, but has no idea where it is. There he comes swinging around. He can't quite find it. Just got on him too quick. Not his fault. Good pressure by Green Bay's front 4.
Mitchell started hitting his first 8 out of 10. He's missed his last 3. Connects on this one to Sloan, the tight end, but he's wrapped up by Butler just past the 40-yard line.
David Sloan gives this offense yet another dimension. He'd only had 12 catches coming in, but he'd been injured a lot. Matter of fact, the tight end position has been one of a problem for the Lions, and they've counted on Pete Metzelaars a lot in his 100th year, I believe.
Yes.
And now with a healthy Sloan, they can do a little bit more at the tight end position. Got 3 catches for 22 so far tonight.
Metzelaars with more games at tight end than anybody in the history of this league. 3rd and 5. Mitchell chased. Throws it up down the sideline. Evans nearly had the interception. Doug Evans has been welded to every receiver he's had tonight.
I'll tell you, though, that was a great effort by Mitchell to get out, but what a terrific job by Glenn Milburn to strip this ball away. Evans has got it. I mean, now all of a sudden Milburn has to become a defensive player, and he just manages to get a hold of his arm and not allow him to bring it in.
Schrader will go back to his 15, awaiting the punt from Jet. Some question about his physical condition. He's had a bad back. Schrader moves up near the 20. And out of bounds across the 40. There is a flag down. And it looked like a very easy call for a block in the back. We'll wait and see. 23-yard return, 40-yard on the punt.
Illegal block, number 83 on the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jeff Thomas in the backup tight end called for the penalty. Got a timeout with 11:36 to go in the half. Tied at 7 from Lambeau.
Our spotlight tonight is on Packers' aggressive, strong safety, Leroy Butler. What he likes to do is get involved in the pass game and the running game. Leroy Butler loves to blitz on the open side of the formation as he comes right here. But the Lions are prepared for this blitz, and Scott Mitchell gets rid of the ball on a 3-step drop. There he seems being sucked in on the play action. Again, the Lions are aware of his aggressiveness. Schlesinger gets the ball out in the flat. I'll tell you, this guy can make plays on the defensive side of the ball, Mike.
3-time Pro Bowler, just an absolutely tremendous safety, and what a pair with he and Robinson back there. Favre to the sideline, 2 wide. Let's go back to Ron.
And the numbers, I'll tell you, Leroy Butler has been very aggressive coming up on the blitz. 3 times he came on the blitz, and he's made 3 tackles. I talked to Leroy Butler yesterday. He had hoped to get some hits on the quarterback. So far, he has not been able to do it.
Had 6.5 sacks a year ago, Jaws, and because of Green Bay's problem stopping the run, he hasn't been able to be as aggressive. Only has 1 so far this year. Into Lions territory at the 48. A beautiful touch pass by Favre.
There's a 28-yard completion to his safety blanket. Mark Chmura is a guy that Brett Favre will look for all the time and then make plays off of. You see the middle of the football field, there's nobody there. There you go, right in the middle of the football field. He wants to run Chmura right down there. There it is. He just hangs it up. Stephen Boyd does a good job just to stay with him.
Back to the ground game, and Levens pounds his way to the 42.
The Packers opened up the no-huddle last week against the New England Patriots, and it really made it difficult for the defense to get their substitutions in. Now, this isn't a hurry-up 2-minute offense. It just allows Brett Favre to be in control at the line of scrimmage. He's just talking to his players, telling them what he wants to do. Everybody gets upset or gets set at the line and then work from there.
2nd and 4. Favre with a short set, and the pass too high for Derek Mays. Corey Raymond on the coverage.
You know, Mike Holmgren is a guy who scripts plays, and doing something like this is a real departure for Mike. On that sheet he usually has the first 15 scripted, but he has a very specific game plan that he likes to follow. He will not turn this loose in Brett's hands a whole lot. He may do it once or twice a ball game just to change the tempo for the Detroit defense.
5 straight winning seasons under Mike Holmgren for the first time since the 60s. The last 2 games, the Packers have been tremendous on 3rd down after being mediocre at the beginning of the season. Levens, nowhere to go. Dorsey Levens will actually lose yardage on that carry. So they tried to cross him up on 3rd and 4, but Robert Porcher wasn't having any.
And the thing about Robert Porcher and the defensive line of the Lions, last year they were trained to just go and get sacks. Now they've become much better run defenders. And here you see Porcher not just trying to go after Favre, but keeping an eye out for the running back.
Hentrick to punt. Try to hang it high, and Milburn waits at the 10. 9:37 and counting, first half. A high floater. And the Packers down it inside the 5. Travis Jervey down on special teams in perfect position after a 40-yard punt. To start from the 3 with the crowd screaming in their ear. The fullback, Vardell, a yard and no more. Seth Joyner on the tackle.
You know, Mike, coming out of either one of these end zones, it's very difficult to get to the line of scrimmage and stay there very long because they're very close and very loud. What you got to do is get to the line of scrimmage and just snap the football and get the play going.
Play action. Mitchell throws to Moore, and Herman Moore with a big first down before Evans knocks him out of bounds at the 16.
Michael, that's what the presence of a Barry Sanders does, and a Scott Mitchell in rhythm, and also so much of the field to have to cover from a defensive standpoint. Doug Evans does not want to get beat deep, so he's going to back up and give Herman Moore a bit of a cushion. The play action holds the linebackers. Herman presses it real well, works the sidelines, makes the catch.
Sanders only 20 yards on 7 carries so far. Give him 5 more on that one before middle linebacker Bernardo Harris makes the tackle. You think of Barry Sanders as a turf back because of those quick moves, right? But the last 3 games he's played on grass, 175, 161, 215 yards. That average is 8.7 on grass.
And only 4.3 on turf. It doesn't matter where he runs.
No. Sanders again behind Vardell. Gets to the 22. Bernardo Harris, the very active middle linebacker, again in on the stop.
I really think that Barry Sanders is most effective when you just straight block and let him pick a hole. That time the Lions tried to run a little cross action and pull some guards. That only gets defensive guys in his way. You really want to give him as much to look at from a visual standpoint without throwing people in front of him.
Because his vision is remarkable. He can be going right and see something 20 yards to his left. Mitchell will try to get it himself and dives forward for the first down. Tough run by Mitchell before Doug Evans hit him.
Boy, and you love to see it from a guy like Scott Mitchell, who's really qualified as a drop-back quarterback, does a good job of running. He knows what he needs. He's really in this game mentally. He knows what he needs for a first down. He knows where to go, puts his head down, and instead of sliding, dives forward and makes the first down.
He's not an easy shot either. Listed at 230, probably closer to 240. Packers have 9 men within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. Mitchell, pump fake to Moore. Herman Moore with the catch, and it appears he has another first down up near the 37.
Herman Moore a little out and up. Work to the sideline. They want to go to the quick post. It's not there. Herman Moore doesn't stop. He keeps working. Doug Evans overplays him. Moore hangs with it and makes the catch. I think that's the toughest catch for a guy as tall as Herman Moore is. He's 6'4", and he has to go down around his ankles to make the catch.
Herman Moore with an outside shot at his own NFL record, 123 catches 2 years ago. Came into this game with 57. Sanders. He's wrapped up by Gilbert Brown, a guy who is not going to be moved.
I'll tell you, Kevin Glover is outweighed by about 70 pounds. Glover's about 280. Of course, we know Gilbert's about 350. Of course, he had to stay around here during the bye week. You know, Gilbert Brown was one of the guys that Mike wouldn't let go. He just anchors the middle. They try and double team him out of the way. And when you get no movement in the middle of the line, very difficult for a runner to find a place to go.
He gets that forward lean, and it's over. 2nd and 9. Mitchell dumps it off. Sloan out to the 42. They gain about 3 on that one, but Leroy Butler is right there. Boy, defensively, both teams have had guys right in a receiver's face as soon as he's touched it. One of the most interesting gentlemen in this game. If you sit down and talk to Fritz Shermer about anything other than football, you'll find out how really bright he is. 3rd and 6, under 5 minutes to go, first half. Here comes the blitz. Mitchell gets away, sidearms, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Darren Sharper. Darren Sharper, touchdown.
That's what happens when you try and make something out of nothing. Scott Mitchell does a good job avoiding the sack. Here, Kay feels it from his right, slides out now. Just do something else with it. Don't try and make a throw because you allow the defensive guy to break on the ball. That's exactly what Darren Sharper did.
Holds the school record with 24 interceptions at William & Mary. That was a big one for the Green Bay Packers. His first as a pro football player, and it went fifth field. The Packers on top 14-7. This stadium 40 years old. Green Bay is a small Wisconsin city, 96,000 people, and yet 61,000 show up every Sunday.
You'd swear 96,000 are in here as loud as it gets.
They're louder than 96.
And you know what's great is the fans are all located near the stadium and the boxes are all sort of away, so you really get the impact of the noise.
Milburn from the 11. Glenn Milburn. Schrader ran him out of bounds near the 45. Let's go back to the touchdown, Joe. What happened?
Well, what happens, Brian Williams, number 51, really puts a lot of pressure. You'll see the pressure come up here, and then watch as Scott Mitchell moves around to try and make the play. Now, if he could throw it on rhythm right there, Herman Moore's going to be open on the out. But he has to slide around and try and avoid the pressure from Williams. That allows Sharper to just lay back and then break on the ball, wind up with a touchdown.
So the Lions start from their own 45-yard line. With a 2 tight end formation, Sanders alone in the backfield. Flag is down. Sanders gets 1 and no more. And it will go against the Lions. NFL Countdown every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Join the distinguished faculty of Bristol University for the best pregame show in the NFL. Then at 7 p.m. it's all the highlights on prime time.
Just throw him the damn ball.
Then at 8, it's the bus to Pittsburgh. The Steelers host the Baltimore Ravens. You must have had to rent that bow tie.
I got it at home. I'm going to wear it one night. I'm going to show you.
I can't wait.
Of course, it's the only one I have. But
1st and 15. Packers show blitz. And here they come. Robinson. Eugene Robinson, Gilbert Brown.
That one goes down as a coverage sack, though, Mike. Scott Mitchell actually has time to unload on the short drop, but the secondary does such a fine job, he can't get there. Eugene Robinson just makes somebody block him and allow Gilbert Brown to get one-on-one. There isn't anybody in football that blocks Gilbert Brown one-on-one.
And the left tackle, Ray Roberts, had someone roll up on his leg, and he's coming back off a knee injury. Fritz Shermer saying, let's bring them all. Fritz proud of his run defense the last couple of weeks. They are 8th in the NFL the last 2 weeks. Mitchell, the deep out, overthrown, intended for Morton. The coverage by Tyrone Williams. And right now, the Lions look a little bit out of rhythm because they were right on it at the beginning.
You're exactly right, Mike. It's very important now that Scott Mitchell just settles down his team. It's important that Sly Grooms gives them any kind of a completion, punt it away, and let your defense go back.
They're really getting to Mitchell now after a slow start. You know, we haven't seen them throw the ball to Barry Sanders yet, and he was telling us yesterday how much he has enjoyed being more involved in the passing game.
He's stuck in pass protection right now. By bringing safeties, you make him pass block.
They go with 3 wideouts as Tommy Boyd checks in. Here comes pressure. Mitchell had that one maybe tipped as he tried to throw to Sanders. He was covered by Brian Williams. And the Packer defense starting to dominate.
The thing that hurt the Detroit Lions the first 4 weeks of the season was poor decisions by Scott Mitchell and penalties. On the last 2 series, we saw a poor decision by Scott Mitchell and a penalty.
High snap, Jet gets it down. Schrader at the 18. Joe, how about the pass protection that they set up for the Green Bay Packers? Why does Favre get such good looks?
Well, what they do, Mike, is we'll see it in the ESPN pre-play. What happens is you create passing lanes for the quarterback. The center and the 2 guards have to remain fairly close to the line of scrimmage and create a wall. The 2 tackles allow the ends to come upfield, which creates these throwing lanes between the guards and the tackles. Really, they become triangles that allow Brett Favre to be able to throw the quick slants, the quick post, the angle in. And if he has to even get it down the field on the hash marks.
Let's face it, unless you're 6'8", you're not throwing over anybody, you're throwing between them. Levens falls right into the arms of the linebacker Stephen Boyd.
Mike Holmgren runs 2 plays in a row. He'll run the football. That's it, at the most. He loves to throw the football. When you chart the Packers, they throw it almost 70% of the time if he gets the chance. I guarantee he'll come back out and put this one in the air.
Clock running, 2:44 and counting. Favre to Levens in the flat. And he's pulled down immediately by Corey Raymond. Let me ask you a question. If you had Brett Favre, Freeman and Brooks and Shamora, wouldn't you want to throw it all the time?
Sure, but actually, you know, he was that way in San Francisco, too. Of course, you only had Joe Montana there. Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, and, you know, Brent Jones. So, okay, yeah. But he likes to put the football in here. As a former quarterback, he would. You think he would.
Done an outstanding job again with this team. So difficult to repeat, so difficult to keep people's focus. He had all these injuries, and people are so quick to write off a ball club. Do not write off the Green Bay Packers. Third and 8. Favre too high for Freeman. Corey Raymond was the defender, and Green Bay will have to punt it away with 2:04 to go in the half.
See, if Brett, you know, you're talking about a 2-time MVP, but if there is one little kink in his armor, I think it's throwing deep outs. I just don't feel like he throws them as accurately as he does down the field, inside the numbers. The last 3 he's thrown have been high and away, and that's just really the way he throws them. His strength is down the middle of the field.
Poor kick off the side of Hendrick's foot. Milburn fields it on the hop and doesn't get anything out of it. There's a marker down back.
Good backups who really want to play.
We've reached the 2-minute warning at 1:54 officially. It's a 1-touchdown lead. At his own 2, and Milburn waits at his 40. Low snap. Hendrick does a nice job of fielding it. Milburn, midfield. near the Packer 45-yard line.
Good decision.
Coming up at halftime, Chris Berman with the fastest 3 minutes in television. We'll show you highlights of the Cowboys and the 49ers, one big game of the day, and a look at the Tour Championship. Frank Winters is doing the punt snapping tonight. Paul Fraze is hurt. He's the normal snapper. And that one was not his best effort. One hop to Henry. 1:45 to go in the half. Good field position for Detroit. Mitchell floats it for Morton. Again, excellent coverage by Tyrone Williams.
Green Bay's defense is doing something they did towards the latter part of the season last year. They're challenging the offenses to throw the ball. They know they can get pressure on you because they're bringing people up around the line of scrimmage. That makes it difficult to run and makes it difficult to hold the ball long. And what they're doing is they're saying, Scott Mitchell, you can't beat our corners. And so far, Fritz Schirmer's won that battle.
Draw play to Sanders on second down. Trying to get outside. Shakes one tackle, will pick up a yard. Could have lost 2 or 3, but Doug Evans couldn't hold him. Sanders such a little guy, but so strong.
You know, in talking to him also the other day, I just believe he's faster this year than I've ever seen him, and he doesn't think so. You know, he really doesn't think so.
He looks like he's faster. Mitchell under pressure, throws incomplete. Sloan never saw it. That's the second time tonight that a pass is whistled by a receiver and he didn't have his head around.
The first one wasn't Tommy Vardell's fault because he had to change direction looking for the ball. This one goes right through Dave Sloan's hand. Perfect read by Scott Mitchell. They bring a safety off the corner. He's got what's called a lookie. That means as soon as you come out and you look for the ball, that one went right through his hands.
Schrader and Pryor are deep. For John Jett, third in the conference in punting. Beautiful high kick. Fair catch made it to 16. Detroit has all 3 timeouts. Green Bay also has all 3 timeouts and only 58 seconds to go in the half.
Boy, this is where Brett Favre just makes you hold your breath.
Pump fake. Gets out of pressure and throws behind Dorsey Levens. What an athletic play by Reggie Brown. I don't know if you saw it.
Yes, I did.
It was remarkable.
Unbelievable. This is incredible. He's number 59 of the Lions. What he does is Brett Favre will start to scramble out. There he is right here. Watch what he does. This is incredible. Okay, he's in coverage. He's in coverage. Favre starts to spin out. He doesn't go after Brett. He looks down the field to get after Dorsey Levens just enough to make Levens reach down and not get the ball. What an unbelievably athletic move, as you said.
When they timed them in the spring, he ran a 4.4. He was actually the fastest guy on the team. Henderson runs into Favre. Favre's in trouble and goes down at the 15. Mike Holmgren didn't draw that one up like that.
Detroit calls a quick timeout now. Both ends of the spectrum.
Absolutely.
Whatever that spectrum is.
46 seconds to go in the half. The Packers will face a 3rd and 11. You're back at your own 15. You go a little conservative here?
Well, I think the way to go conservative is really try to work the ball either to Dorsey Levens or to Mark Chmura. Chmura's been a little silent after that big catch down the middle, but he would certainly be a guy I would think about trying to get to in this situation.
Movement on the Packers offensive line, and that's going to be called on Adam Timmerman, the right guard, who came up a count earlier than he should have.
It's a false start. Number 63, offense.
It's a good call.
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Sorry, Jerry, I thought you were done. It was a good call by Brett because what he wants to do is pick up a cheap 5 and get the Lions jumping offside. It's easier to convert 3rd and 5. Winds up making it a little bit tougher on himself.
Now he faces a 3rd and 16.
See, now the focus, I think, is away from the tight end. Now you go towards the wide receiver.
Favre with time, rifles it. It's intercepted at the 38-yard line. It's picked off by Mark Carrier. The former Bears star, the 3-time Pro Bowler, and that ball just whistled and sailed, and Carrier picked it up.
Favre has time to throw this thing. It just comes out like a wild duck. Good protection up front. Brett steps. This thing is a non-spiral right out of his hand. It just sails on him. He's trying to squeeze it, and he tried to overthrow it, actually. Carrier winds up with the interception. Now, this is what happens. There's Favre. Now, there it is. Now, that's a 15-yard penalty that Jerry Markwright should have called. If you're going to referee, you got to do it the right way. He blew that one.
Favre lost his cool and pushed Waldrop and got away with it. Mitchell, here comes the blitz. Herman Moore. And he's wrapped up and taken out of bounds at the 18-yard line by Sharper.
Waldrop, what Favre thought was Waldrop came after him with a cheap shot in the first game, okay? As it turns out, you know, he's doing a little bit jawing on him. He's getting a little bit under Brett's skin. Mike Holmgren does not want to get his quarterback in a verbal contest with any of the Lions. He's got to settle Brett down.
Waldrop was called to New York and warned by the NFL this week. Any more cheap shots, he faces a suspension. Sanders stumbled a little bit, then takes it outside and gets out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Back to Waldrop for a second. Fined 3 times in the last 2 years, specifically for going at quarterbacks' knees.
Exactly.
And he said, I'm not going to change the way I play, but believe me, I'm not hitting anybody low anymore, no matter what.
No, they, you know, and Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator of the Lions, says, you know, when they start writing letters to our players, that makes you feel like the coaches are teaching that, and they don't stress it. But sometimes guys will come around the corner, be a little off balance, and wind up going low. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying he's got to be careful about it because they're looking.
3rd and 4. Mitchell. Reggie White almost got the sack. As it was, he blew up the play. That was supposed to be a quick pass because they were cutting Reggie White, but he stayed on his feet and chased down the quarterback.
Doug Evans continues to do a good job on Herman Moore. Just staying with him, won't let him go outside. Herman trying to swim, can't do it. Tyrone Williams on Johnny Morton. He won't let him go anywhere. That heat, that pressure, give a lot of credit to that secondary of the Green Bay Packers.
So Jason Hanson, who has made his last 16 after hitting the upright on a 52-yarder, will come on to try one from 34. And it hit the upright and went through. Jason Hanson squibbed it to the right, but it caught the right upright and kick it off. Squibber picked up by Schrader, takes it out to the 31 with 9 seconds to go in the half. And Favre will bring the offense back out on the field.
Now, the Lions have to be a little bit careful because the Packers still have 3 timeouts. 9 seconds. You know, you can hit a 15 or 20-yard pass and go to the ground and call timeout. You don't have to be tackled and give them an opportunity, but they're not going to choose to do it.
Very few spikes, and Fritz Shermer's heart rate has been pretty steady all night long.
As well as Mike Holmgren's.
Only got that 1 breakaway for 11 yards, and if you can hold Barry Sanders to a long of 11 yards, you've done your job.
And, Mike, that's really something the Packers have not been able to do most of the front of the line of scrimmage, giving Barry very few places to break and run to.
Sanders will now need 90 yards to pass Tony Dorsett for 3rd place all time. Schrader awaiting the kickoff along with Aaron Hayden. Jason Hanson teeing it up at the 30. Lions need a win to get back in the playoff hunt, and the Packers need a win to stay even with the Vikings. Hayden from the 7. Cut down as he reached the 27 by Scott Kolwakowski. Take a look at the statistics in the first half. Total yards, actually, the Lions with a lead in that department, but points off turnovers has been the difference.
Both of the interceptions resulting in the points. Lions only got 3. Of course, Sharper's touchdown return for the Packers got them their 7.
And the Lions have actually dominated the number of plays and the time of possession. Well, at least he got the tickets.
Don't say it.
You knew what I was thinking.
I know you were thinking something.
In the flat to Levens.
Brett Favre in the first half really has been somewhat conservative for his play. The good throw to Robert Brooks, he really made a great throw. Only a little bit under 15%, 83 yards, 1 TD, 1 INT. The interception came off of somebody just trying to throw the ball a bit too hard. That's all he tried to do.
Favre brings them up on 2nd and 6. Split the backs. Draw play, Levens.
Again, Mike, that's just a good job by the front 4 of the Lions. Like I said, last year these guys would just tee off. All they concerned themselves with is sacks. And Brian Baker, the defensive line coach, still has to work on making them think a little bit more about the run. Larry Piccatello, as we talked about, wants his front 4 to get pressure on Brett Favre and not count on having to try and go after him with blitzes.
Spot the ball at the 32. They go with 3 wide receivers as Derek Mays is in on 3rd and 5. 4-man rush. Favre will run for it. 45 and out of bounds.
That's that other dimension, Michael, that you just cannot defense. You do a good job in coverage. You give him a little bit of a hole, he can pick up the first down. As he drops back, you see the Lions go back in coverage. There's the hole that opens up left. There's no doubt in Brett's mind. That ball coming up in the air was just to stop the Lions from coming up a little bit. And then he heads for the sidelines. That's the other part of smart quarterbacking.
Favre has rushed for over 100 yards this year. He doesn't run as much as he did early in his career. He's still looking for the receivers, but he picks his spots very well. Favre floats this one down the sideline, and it's complete to the backup tight end, Tyrone Davis. He was waived and re-signed at the end of September, and Tyrone Davis with his first catch of the year for 26 yards.
What they do is they work the double tight end set to the left. Chimura goes inside. Davis starts in the flat and just works right up. Everybody's concerned about Chewy. And Davis just slides on out. Brett just hangs it out with a nice touch throw.
He broke Herman Moore's record in Virginia with 28 touchdown catches. Packers driving. Play action by Favre. Rifles it complete down to the 12-yard line. Another first down. The catch by Antonio Freeman.
And Antonio Freeman was a guy we talked about the first part of the year. Another guy really struggling, trying to make big plays before he had the football. He said that both Jim McMahon and Keith Jackson called him and said, listen, catch the ball, the big plays will come as they have for you before. And he has settled down.
Another first down, Green Bay. Levens. Tough run by Dorsey Levens inside the 6. Ron Rice had to make the tackle.
They just run to Brian Westbrook's side, number 32. Chamorro does a nice job of making the block. Westbrook, not a very good open field tackler. You saw one right there. Something he has to work on.
If he hits you awful hard, but he doesn't always hit you. Second down and 3. Favre to Levens. Solid tackle by Rice. And the Lions are very happy to have Rice back in the lineup. He's been hurt nearly all year long. And they lost Harry Cullen, and Van Malone is out tonight. The Packers as a team have not done a great job inside the 20, the middle of the pack, 50%. Favre, on the other hand, 14 touchdown passes and no picks.
That's a combination of two things. Number one, he knows what he wants to go, where he wants to go with the football, and he rockets it in. Secondly, he has great athletic ability to buy time to make plays.
Third and 3. The Lions a little confused as they got players on late. A couple of guys asking what defense are we in. Here comes the blitz. Favre hangs on, throws, and got rid of it. Great job by Favre just to avoid the sack. Reggie Brown had him, couldn't bring him down.
Boy, Reggie Brown just fires up right inside, comes right between the guard and the center, hangs on, get the other leg. It's like horn tying him, not a hog tie him.
And if you wonder why they didn't blow the play dead, there was no one else coming at Favre. Until there is, they won't blow it dead.
Very well done, Michael.
Thank you, sir. Longwell, who has had a great season coming in for the injured Brett Conway, the rookie that they drafted out of Penn State, hits his 15th field goal in 17 tries. What a great find he has been.
The official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. www.visa.com and by GMC.
Well, that's something to do with pumpkins after Halloween.
Never thought of that.
10:24 to go, third quarter. From Lambeau Field, the Packers lead by a touchdown. Milburn from the 4. Planted as he got to the 21. Chris Darkins drilled him. Green Bay by a touchdown. Back in a moment.
Field in our spotlight tonight is Packers defensive tackle, the immovable Gilbert Brown. Gilbert Brown commands a double team. He's the type of guy that you just can't handle with one block. Here, he's double teamed, comes off the double team, and makes the tackle on Sanders. Here's what happens when you single block him. He tracks the play down from behind, again, makes the play on Sanders. Once again, you take the shot on the single block on Gilbert Brown. He rushes the quarterback. Good upfield move. Makes a half a sack on that play. Mike, you've got to double team Gilbert Brown to be effective.
And Jaws, the great thing about him, he came back to Green Bay for less money than he could have gotten as a free agent to go to Jacksonville. And that's what has happened with the Packers. They want to play here. They want to be part of the tradition. They want to be part of what Mike Holmgren has built. Sanders hasn't been able to get it loose. Here he goes. Runs right by Evans, who got enough of a hand on him to force him out at the 40.
Mike, there was a case where Leroy Butler, number 36, tried to come up and force inside from an angle that just didn't work against Barry Sanders. You'll see 36 come up into your screen. There's Leroy Butler, number 36. He's a safety. He can't get that close to the line of scrimmage and pursue inside out on Barry Sanders.
13 carries, 50 yards for Barry Sanders. Mitchell to Moore, and he is wrapped up immediately by Evans. Let's go back to Ron Jaworski.
Mike, here are the numbers on Gilbert Brown. He's been in the game for 32 snaps. He's been double-teamed 15 times when they rush at him, less than 2 yards per carry. But the big number right there, this guy is such a load inside, he never gets blocked to the ground. They've got to double-team him to try to move him out of there, Mike.
All right, Ron, before New England, he had missed 2 games with a knee injury, limited in 3 others. That's why the Packers defense wasn't able to stop the run. Mitchell has it batted down at the line of scrimmage. It looked like the right end, Gabe Wilkins and Gilbert Brown also in there, and they got their hands up.
Scott Mitchell is a big, tall guy, but he has somewhat of a low release. The ball doesn't come over the top. The ball comes out pretty flat. Gilbert Brown, number 93, against Mike Compton, number 77. He gets down low on him and still manages to get the ball knocked down.
3rd and 8. Detroit at its own 41. Comes the blitz. Mitchell runs away from pressure. Incomplete, no flag. And Morton really wanted one. He thought he was interfered with, and I think he's got a pretty good argument.
Well, you know why, Mike? When the quarterback breaks the pocket, all bets are off. Mitchell's out of the pocket now. He's trying to get the ball down the field. He comes back, and, you know, it's really, really close. Tyrone Williams does a good job of not running into him. Then Pryor comes over the top just as the ball gets there.
Schrader waits on a high floating punt. He'll have to signal fair catch. Then has to get out of the way. Did it touch a Packer? It did. The Lions have recovered at the 15.
Mike, it winds up bouncing off of Mike Pryor, number 39, who's down there trying to block for Schrader.
Schrader came up to call the fair catch, then realized he couldn't get there.
He gets out of the way, but the guys blocking for him don't. Watch number 39 come down. There's the ball, bounces off his right shoulder, and the Lions wind up with the recovery.
Matt Russell, number 54, on the spot.
It misses Schrader, but right off of Pryor's right shoulder. Chuck Prefer, the special teams coach, not been real happy with the play of his special teams. They haven't made enough big plays. Got one here.
With 8:54 to go, third quarter, big break for Detroit, down by a touchdown. And the crowd comes to its feet. They're in the eye with Vardell, the up man. Sanders slithers inside the 15. A little pushing and shoving going on as Larry Tharp, the right tackle, thought he got an extra shot from somebody.
I think the Lions are doing the right thing, Mike. You want to establish Barry Sanders. You want him to have the opportunity to break the play. Although the defensive backs are so close when you're this close, but if you run them the first time, you set up some kind of play action for yourself to create a little bit of space between the second level and the third level.
2nd and 7. Mitchell. They've got it to Vardell. He stopped at the 11-yard line. Bernardo Harris on the coverage.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You have to respect Barry Sanders. Anytime the ball looks like it's going to go in his direction, you've got to move people towards it. That time, Scott Mitchell broke the pocket a little bit, got it out to Vardell.
Vardell comes up a little gimpy. He'll trot off the field. It will be 3rd and 4. Reggie White directing his teammates. Mitchell tries to sidearm, and it's picked off. Doug Evans at the goal line. A poor decision by Mitchell, and Evans gets his 2nd interception.
A poor decision again by Scott Mitchell. He's got to understand where he is on the football field. Protect the 3 points. Don't try and force it in.
The Lions, after the turnover, come up empty. And over the Lions, their lead. We'd like to thank the Pennzoil Copter Cam for tonight's aerials of Lambeau Field. Another sellout crowd, nearly 61,000. Doug Evans with his 2nd interception of the season, thwarting the Lions' scoring drive. Levens, nowhere to go. Squirts out to the 9. Back to the interception, Joe.
Well, Scott Mitchell threw the first when he was flushed out of the pocket. This time he does the same thing. As he comes out of the pocket, he's focused on Herman Moore. He stays on Herman Moore. Herman works back. Scott's got to see the field. Evans is out to the right. He throws it off balance. It's a dying quail going out there, and Evans just steps in front of Herman Moore and makes the play.
And Bobby Ross just exploded. He's got to be thinking the same thing you were. A chip shot field goal at worst, and they don't even get that. Favre with a short set. Throws complete. Brooks fights his way to the 24. First down for Robert Brooks. And a face full of Lambeau Field. Robert looks like he's wearing a Halloween costume.
It's great to see grass in guys' helmets, though. Anything but the hard stuff they play on.
Big first down for Green Bay. 5:59 to go third quarter. They keep the ball. And a fresh set of downs from the 24. Levens got to the 25 and no further.
You know, Mike, when a quarterback makes a mistake like Scott Mitchell did, you take a look at the job that this Detroit defense is doing. They're keeping him in the game. This is a very powerful, explosive offense that they've saddled. And you make mistakes like that, all you do is you hurt both sides of the ball. You hurt the scoring opportunity, but you take some air out of the balloon for your defense.
And Mitchell had been doing rather well in that department, too, not making the big mistake. Tonight he's been hurt twice. Second and 9. Favre in the flat for Brooks. Upended by Westbrook. A couple of yards shy of the first down. The young man does not lack confidence. We talked to him last night, and everybody in the room was sir. Nice young man.
Good play action by Favre. All you do is get the defense flowing. You got Robert out. He gets rid of the ball so quick. Now Robert gets a chance to turn upfield and try and make a play with it.
3rd and 3 for Green Bay. Favre under pressure. They got him this time. Chased from behind by Luther Ellis. Bobby Ross said Ellis has been playing so well against Denver. Ross said, I thought he played almost a perfect game. From Bobby Ross, that is high praise.
He is one tough grader. Good job by this defensive front of the Lions. They just keep working. They keep working. Favre was going to try and run it up inside and just pick up the first down. Nowhere to go.
Hendrick to punt to Milburn. Better kick this time. Milburn from his 25. And loses a yard on the return. His dad, Terry, such a tremendous player, second-generation star in the NFL.
Well, I had a chance to play with Terry Metcalf.
Lions go back to work from their own 24. Sanders. Got it up to the 28-yard line where Leroy Butler made the stop.
Packers playing very disciplined along that defensive line, not really giving Barry a chance to cut back to the backside of a run.
"15 carries, 56 yards tonight for Barry Sanders." Play action Mitchell. Morton, flag is down, and Morton planted by Eugene Robinson.
And Doug Evans is going to get called for holding Herman Moore.
Holding, number 33, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And boy, has that been a battle between those two guys tonight.
He's been hand working him all night. This time he gets caught. He's got Herman one-on-one. Now he's locked in. That right hand completely around him. Herman finally says, finally, you threw it.
It's an automatic first down for the Lions to their own 34. Approaching the 3-minute mark, third quarter. Green Bay leads by a touchdown. Sanders. Butler couldn't get him. Gilbert Brown chases him down, and Sanders pounds the turf.
Mike, I want to show you I want to show everybody what I mean by front side, backside on the ESPN pre-play. What happens is Barry Sanders is behind Tommy Vardell. That's 20 behind 44. The front side is where the play is called and directed. That's where the offensive line initially blocks. That's where the defense starts to pursue to. As Barry moves that way to the front side, you have to be conscious of him coming all the way back to the back side of the play. Both the guard and tackle on that side as well as the defense have to be conscious of it.
2nd and 4. Mitchell, short set, goes to Herman Moore. Evans couldn't get him, but blocked down by Seth Joyner. And if Joyner, who is getting better after that knee injury, getting back in the swing of things, if he can give them some more at that outside linebacker, they become even better.
And you'll notice he's wearing number 54. Wayne Simmons, who was here, wore 59. Seth Joyner, both in Arizona and Philadelphia, wore 59. But in respect to Simmons, he said, I'm staying with 54. Even next year, if I'm a Packer, I'm going to stay with this number.
Says the individual stuff doesn't mean anything anymore. All he wants are championship rings. 3rd and 2. Sanders nearly broke that one. Has a first down at midfield.
I'll guarantee you, Mike Holmgren's heart jumped right up in his throat when Sanders started to hit the line quick. Kevin Glover, Mike Compton, and Jeff Hardings, the three guys inside. You got to move Gilbert Brown. This time, they get him moved just a little bit so that they can run to his left side.
Boy, did he explode through that hole. He only needs another 36 yards for his 9th straight 1,000-yard season. Nobody has ever had 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons. The cutback will lose a yard, maybe 2 on this one. Gilbert Brown, again, would not be moved, but he's slow to get up.
And Eugene Robinson as well, the free safety. What Fritz Shermer has decided to do coming back from the break, Mike, is he's gotten his safeties more involved in being more aggressive around the line of scrimmage. Let his corners go one-on-one, try and stop the run inside.
Tell you what, people missed the boat for years in not giving that man an opportunity to be a head coach. Been such a brilliant defensive coordinator his entire career. Interceptions all year long. The Packers have grabbed 3 tonight. Leroy Butler with the latest one. In the first quarter, such a hot start, and they have been really going after him ever since.
Last 12 passes have been incomplete, 3 of them picked off.
Favre under pressure and dives to the 49. He'll gain maybe a yard. George Jamison chased him down. You could almost feel the Packers ready to go for a kill shot there.
I think it's a great call by Mike Holmgren. You come out, and Sherm Lewis as well. What happens is the defense makes a turnover. You got the ball at midfield. You get a chance to take a shot up the field, you do it. If not, you got Mr. Improvisation back there to make a play.
A wry little smile on the face of Sherman Lewis. Levens can't get outside. Skids to the 49. Jamison is there again, along with Stephen Boyd. Boy, with Boyd and Reggie Brown, a couple of good young linebackers.
And I think this is the most critical third down in the game for the Detroit Lions. If they can stop the Packers again, Scott Mitchell gets the offense back on the field knowing that no harm's been done. I can start over with a clean slate mentally and work from there. If they can get the first down, it just makes it a little tougher for the Lions.
3rd and 7. changing the play again. Lions come with a blitz. Packers pick it up. Now Favre has to scramble and fires incomplete, nearly intercepted at the 25-yard line. Fine play by Westbrook, who may have hurt himself on the play.
Boy, some good protection by that Packer front, backs and line, and good coverage by the Lions in the secondary. It's just one of those well-executed plays on both sides. Here he is trying to force it down the field again. Westbrook just can't quite hang on to it.
The difference in the two meetings between these teams so far, in the first one, Brett Favre had 3 picks. Tonight, Scott Mitchell has 3. Hendrick, beautiful high floater. Fair catch at the 16.
Mercedes-Benz M-Class, the first 4x4 that performs like a Mercedes. And by New Edge Pro Gel. Lose the foam, save your skin.
17-10 Green Bay. We have 13 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the ball game. From a sold-out Lambeau Field, Bob Harlan, the president and the CEO of the Green Bay Packers, and his elevation to that position started the turnaround here. He hired Ron Wolf, the general manager, who hired Mike Holmgren. Sanders cuts it outside, 20, 25, 26-yard line, horse collared by Robinson.
Good job by Ray Roberts and Mike Compton on the left side. This time Barry takes a little counter step and then just follows Tommy Vardell. He's talked about being more patient and trying to stay in the hip pocket of his fullback. That time he did.
19 carries, 80 yards for Barry Sanders. They go back to the well. Here's the cutback, but nothing there. Santana Dotson will make the tackle. Eugene Robinson was right at the line of scrimmage. Joe, back to your earlier point. After Detroit's defense did its job, now Scott Mitchell can come out there with a clear conscience saying, all right, the mistake didn't hurt that bad, but you've got to take advantage of those opportunities.
Exactly. You can't you cannot continue to make mistakes and then not put some drives together to help your ball club.
Second and 10 on the 26.
Been a tough night throwing the wide receivers. The Packers have been on them. Play action. Mitchell in trouble. Tried to hit Vardell, threw it low and behind him. Bernardo Harris was right there. Gerald Williams was putting the pressure on Mitchell.
They do a nice job at this one. Gerald Williams does not take the play fake. He does a good job in his discipline, goes after Scott Mitchell and forces him to throw it low to Tommy Vardell.
Gerald Williams, a nice pickup as a free agent. The Lions haven't been able to do anything on third down. Mitchell in the flat. That's the tight end, Pete Metzelaars, in his 16th year. He makes the catch, but he's short of a first down.
Good job by that Packer defense. The second down play is what makes it. Gerald Williams' pressure puts them in third and long. They wind up with an incompletion. Then they can play the defense that Fritz likes to play on 3rd and 10.
Jet to punt again, and Schrader back at his 25. Beautiful kick. Schrader signals fair catch and makes it at the 32.
Lambeau Field. Our spotlight now is on Barry Sanders, and it's Barry Sanders in the two-back set. Barry Sanders should be following number 44, Tommy Vardell, right there to the point of attack. As you'll see when the ball is snapped, ooh, he almost breaks away from him, but he stays with the hole and picks up a short gain. Here you'll see him follow Vardell, but watch his head. He doesn't stay with the point of attack. He looks away. And here he goes improvising. And this is what Barry does best. Do things on his own, runs outside of Rich White, and Mike, he does do things better on his own.
Jaws, you just can't script anything for the guy. Sometimes he'll hit that hole, but his vision is just so exceptional. And how can you knock the career he has had? Let him do it his way. Favre rifles it to Freeman, and he is buried by Reggie Brown. Back to Jaws.
And here are the numbers on Barry Sanders. In that two-back set, he has run the ball 5 times for 25 yards. When he has to follow and improvise on his own, 15 rushes for 55 yards. It's very clear he loves to do it his own way, Mike.
And he's done it for 9 years, and nobody could be better than Barry Sanders. And he's also got the best attitude of any star in the game. 2nd and 6. Levens. Nowhere to go as the Lions swarm him at the line of scrimmage.
And what happened that time is the Lions blew up a reverse. By the penetration of the front 4, Levens was not able to make a handoff to Antonio Freeman or Robert Brooks, one of them coming around. Robert Porcher, number 91, with his penetration up the field, stops Green Bay from running the reverse. Here he comes up the field. Now, Levens wants to hand off. You see Robert Brooks come into the picture. That was going to be a reverse. Here comes Robert. There's Porcher.
3 wide receivers on 3rd and 8. Blitz. Everybody coming, and Favre unloads incomplete.
You constantly hear defensive coaches, Mike, talk about the fact that you don't necessarily have to sack them. You just got to knock them down.
There is a marker down.
Holding number 52, offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Frank Winters, the center, as he tried to help out on the blitz, and they brought the farm on that one.
Well, Larry Peccatello has done one heck of a good job tonight as the defensive coordinator of the Lions. His offense has put him in a couple of binded situations, and he still managed to hold the Packers in check.
Hendrick not his best this time. Milburn at the 28 gives ground. He's buried. 38-yard punt, a loss in Green Bay. Temperature going below the freezing mark. Blue cheese, I guess. Movement up front, they'll stop the play, and Ray Roberts, the left tackle, came out of his stance early.
False start. Number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
This Saturday is Judgment Day in college football. ABC and ESPN have you covered at 11:30 a.m. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit bring you College Game Day to Chapel Hill. Well, Mike Adamle anchors things from State College as number 4 Michigan goes against number 3 Penn State on ABC at 3:30. Then Florida State against North Carolina on ESPN in prime time. 1st and 15 Lions. Mitchell under pressure. Sanders saved the sack as he picked up the blitzing Brian Williams.
Scott Mitchell has not been really comfortable in the pocket all night. He's had pressure in his face, and what happens is he double clutches again, winds up throwing in the ground. There's Barry Sanders. Here comes Williams. He's going to meet him right there. Scott Mitchell's going to try and throw, but not have enough time. Barry steps up, does a good job. Scott double clutches, winds up throwing in the ground.
2nd and 15. Mitchell way over the head of Herman Moore. And Joe, you're right. Scott has not looked comfortable in the pocket since the 1st quarter when he was so sharp.
Now, Fritz Schirmer's throwing a lot of different looks at him, a lot of packages. You see a 4 down lineman, 2 linebacker, 5 defensive back set. Then he goes 3-3-5. He just keeps moving it around and giving him a different look, and it's made him very uncomfortable.
Fritz came into the NFL in 1975. Been at this a long time. So has Reggie. Detroit only 2 out of 13 on 3rd down conversion. Reggie White almost got there. The pass overthrown. Pryor was the only one close enough to it. And Reggie White was held big time and still almost got the sack.
It's like holding back a truck.
The Detroit defense will have to hold one more time. They've had a great second half. Jet to kick. Another beauty. Schrader at the 41. Got a block. Oh, hello. 7-yard return, and he is crushed by Ron Rivers. And Rivers says, I got the football, but it came out after the tackle. It was right in front of the Lions bench, and Bobby Ross thought it should be Detroit football. Still a 17-10 game.
If you want to have a winning football team, you have to have a tough line, and also with trucks. And Toyota builds tough trucks. If you're looking for a tough full-size truck, check out the T100 here at Rudy Luther's Toyota. Here's the nose guard of the sport utility.
And almost 61,000 have come to worship at the shrine of Lambeau Field. Favre can't find anyone. Now floats it sideline and throws it out of bounds. Mike Holmgren nearly made the catch. What a tremendous home field advantage it is for the Green Bay Packers. A win tonight, they tied their own mark in second place in NFL history with 20 straight home wins. Only the Dolphins, with that perfect season sandwiched in there, had a better mark of 27 straight. And I'd hate to bet against them not breaking that streak.
I really do. I mean, as a home field with the fans as close as they are, it's a tremendous advantage.
Shea couldn't get him, but Brown chases him out of bounds.
Detroit's defense continues to do the job. Green Bay has not gotten into a rhythm either. You know, Mike, both of these defenses have done such an outstanding job that neither offense can get into a tempo and get the coaches calling plays in a rhythm.
I'll tell you one thing about the Lions. It may not have shown up in the record yet, but naming Bobby Ross the head coach and the staff of assistants that he has put together has already made this a better, more disciplined football team.
Absolutely.
3rd and 10. They show blitz, and they're coming. Favre steps up and fires. Brooks. He's got the first down all the way to the 31-yard line. Great job by the offensive line and the backs to pick it up.
And an unbelievable job by Brett Favre to fight the instincts of just taking off running, but get yourself free and then actually throw the ball back left. Here's the offensive line. Everybody gets a man. They all do a good job. William Henderson has nobody to block. Now he steps up, has a chance to run, but throws the ball literally back across the field to Robert Brooks for the completion.
8:49 and counting to go in the ball game. The Packers trying to increase that one touchdown lead. Levens. Well, there just hasn't been anything there tonight in the run game.
Well, the last 6 times they've run the football, they've gotten 0 yards. And that's the job that the front 4 is doing to the Lions. I don't necessarily, you want to say, well, geez, they're not blowing them off the ball. It's just a good front 4.
Larry Pecatello, the longtime Redskin assistant.
Played with the Redskins when Larry was there. Did a terrific job handling the linebackers with the Redskins back in the 80s.
2nd and 9. Favre on a little half roll. Brooks could be about a yard shy of the first down. Reggie Brown with another tackle. Excellent block by Henderson on the corner.
You know, the little subtle things you look for in a coach calling an offensive game plan. Mike Holmgren has now got Brett Favre moving around a little bit. He's got him sprinting out to the left, sprinting out to the right. He's stepping up and moving around, making plays himself. And that's what you have to do with a guy with that ability. Make him be the playmaker.
Under 7.5 minutes to go in the game. 3rd and a yard, 2 tight ends. Levens, and they'll blow this play dead. There may have been some contact up front. Preliminary signal against Green Bay.
False start prior to the snap. Number 78, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Ross Verba just shaking his head. He thought somebody came across. This guy is a real mauler.
You know, he started in Mike Holmgren's doghouse because he didn't get to camp. But as he's worked himself, finally a few weeks ago, he gets into the lineup, and he gives a real hard set on the left tackle. John Michaels, who was the left tackle, gave a soft corner. Got a little too much pressure on Brett Favre. Verba, a little bit stronger at the point of attack.
Now 3rd and 6, they'll go with 4 wideouts. Caught out of bounds, incomplete. Mays got his hands on it, juggled it, then caught it, but came down out of bounds.
And Mike, you continue to see the out balls going real high all night by Brett Favre. He sets and just fires this thing. He never gets his weight transferred forward. And almost an impossible catch, even though it's out of bounds.
What a catch. Mays has always had remarkable hands coming out of Notre Dame. Now they'll try to extend the lead to 10. Longwell will try one from 44. He's already hit one tonight from 23. Halfway there, that was no good. He got a late hook on it.
Started that one up the right side of the fairway and just brought it back inbounds.
Looked like an Arnold Palmer driver, came back at the last minute.
That baby's outside. Doesn't have to be.
Lions could certainly use a big return out of their special teams here. Milburn at the 2. Following that wedge, he has a seam. Thomason caught him and made a saving tackle. Let's go to Ron Jaworski.
Mike, the spotlight now is on that Packers pass defense. And pass defense is a combination of pass rush coverage, and that's what you got to do. Stay with your people as well as get the pressure. Here you see this Packer defense flushing Mitchell out of the pocket with the pressure right up the middle. That's where you want to be in Mitchell's face. He forced himself out of the pocket, and he throws late to Herman Moore. The result, an interception. That's because the late throw, again, you see the pass rush pressure, a late throw breaks down the timing. And Joe, both you and I know, if you don't see the throw, don't make it.
Well, there were a couple air jaws he didn't see. They give it to Sanders, and Barry Sanders explodes up to the 42-yard line, a gain of about 9. But if they can hold Barry Sanders to 9, they'll let him carry it the rest of the ball game.
And I'm sure the first thing that comes to someone's mind, Mike, is, well, geez, you're down by 10 points. There's 6 minutes to go in the game. Why are you giving the ball to Barry Sanders? Because he can get it north and south in a heartbeat, and you can't just take him out of the game.
The last 5 possessions have been a disaster for the Lions. 3 punts and a couple of picks. Sanders again. Dragging a tackler to the 50-yard line. Gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 5:54 to go. Good block by the tight end Sloan, and that will take Barry Sanders to 98 yards. Leaves him only 24 shy of Tony Dorsett for number 3 all time. And the projection is early in the year 2000, if he stays healthy, he will be the leading running back in the history of the NFL. Mitchell throws to Moore. He lost the football. It goes out of bounds. And who's there with him again? Doug Evans.
Now they're going to call forward progress stopped. The Lions catch a real break on this one because that ball rolled back 10 yards. Little quick hook, 6-yard route. Herman catches it, tries to put it away. Doug just knocks it out. You know, that to me is a fumble, and the ball should be spotted back 10 yards.
Oh, I agree with you. As it is, it's 2nd and 5 for the Lions. Sanders. Nothing there, cuts it outside, then cuts it back inside. Holy cow, what a run. The 38, Eugene Robinson clamped down on him.
Okay, 7-yard runs by him are pieces of art.
And now you can see why Mike Holmgren is holding his breath and dancing on the sideline every time Barry Sanders gets the ball.
And that's really what you talk about when you talk about front side and back side. That time he started to the right and just came back as the line continued to push. Starts to the front side, the right, now cuts it all the way back. Sees the pursuit outside, just cuts it up inside.
Very quietly, really, 105 yards for Sanders. They try to give it to Rivers. They missed on the handoff, and Rivers got it back. Sanders got a breather. Rivers comes in for him, and they misconnect on the handoff.
You know what that is, Mike? That is the difference between the speed of Barry Sanders out of the blocks and Rivers. That's what throws off Scott Mitchell's handoff. Scott's a tall guy, and he's used to having the ball in a certain spot for Barry. All of a sudden, you change backs, and it's a different spot to place the ball.
3:59 to go. The Lions can't afford to waste too much more time. Blitz. Mitchell throws to avoid the sack and did a good job because Brian Williams had him.
Doug Evans matched up on Herman Moore one more time. Herman falls down. Doug doesn't move, just stays right on him. Johnny Morton getting shadowed by Tyrone Williams. Just really nowhere to go for Scott Mitchell.
Tell you what, those are two outstanding receivers. Herman Moore is brilliant, and they haven't been able to get open tonight. Reggie White. He just went right around Larry Tharp, blindsided Mitchell.
Remember we talked about it, Mike? You know, you say, oh, Reggie, well, he's getting a little bit older. He waits for his moment, and then explodes. He just comes off real hard. Look, now with the power, here comes the drive up. Mitchell nowhere to go.
Looked like Butler was also in the face of Mitchell. 4th and 20, obviously they have to go for it with 3:21 clock rolling. Here's the ball game. Packers come with a blitz again. Mitchell in trouble, and down he goes. Jermaine Smith, the rookie out of Georgia, will get credit for that sack.
But again, Mike, a terrific job by the secondary. Scott Mitchell gets back, but he has nowhere to go. You need a margin of error to be able to throw the ball. Herman Moore, Doug Evans right on him again. Johnny Morton tries to go up the field with a hesitation on Williams. It doesn't matter. He can't get himself enough space. Now, the line does a good job initially, but now as Mitchell steps up, there's nowhere to go.
The Packers have turned in some remarkable secondary play tonight. Just remarkable. And now with a 10-point lead in the football, they'll just work on the clock. Levens goes down rather than run out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Robert Porcher on top of it. Been a complete reversal from the first game. Mitchell throws 3 interceptions tonight. Favre was guilty of the same thing in the first meeting. And I think you'd have to say, off the last 2 performances by Green Bay, that the pack is back.
Yeah, you know, Mike, but tonight's performance, you know, brought them back down closer to the pack a little bit. They didn't distinguish themselves really on offense like you'd expected with all that weapons.
Levens behind Henderson. Slips a tackle. Nice move by Levens. Close to a first down at the 35. NFL primetime with Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Stuart Scott. The complete wrap-up of today's action in the NFL. First and 10, Green Bay. Levens again. caught in the backfield by Boyd, struggles back to the line of scrimmage. And the Lions will use their first of 3.
So when both defenses are playing that well, it boils down to what your quarterback can do. You see Scott Mitchell's numbers, 18 for 39. A lot of it came in the first half, those completions. The 3 INTs killed him.
The offensive stars have not had a big night for the Detroit Lions. Green Bay's defense has just been superb. So is the Lions, for that matter, considering the 3 turnovers. Levens again. Boyd again on the tackle.
Mike, but when you have to have a sack, when you need a big play, his nickname, The Undertaker, up here, makes it happen.
Well, he's buried a few guys.
Yeah.
And talk about sportsman, the guy who never hot dogs, never tries to show up another player except by his actions on the field. He scores, he hands the ball to the referee like he's actually done it before, and then trots back to the bench. There is nobody better than Barry Sanders.
Never had a chance tonight to break it loose.
Favre fumbles the football. Now he's going to have to eat it at midfield.
Oh, and he has got Robert Brooks running down the middle of the football field. He's going to look at this one on film and be absolutely sick.
Well, he's sick right now.
Oh, wait till he sees it on film.
Milburn back at the 10, and Hendrick will kick it away with 1:41 to go in the ball game. The Lions still down by 2 scores. You come after the punter?
Yes, absolutely. Because you got a lot of yardage to go. You know, if it's a running in, it doesn't matter.
Bad snap, and Hendrick just kills another one. Nearly dropped it inside the 5. A 50-yard punt. They'll go back to the...
Michael Jordan get his 40.
Sure.
You just don't want him to get 80.
Mitchell throws, almost picked again, intended for Herman Moore. Doug Evans must have really done some studying this week, because he's made every cut that Herman Moore has.
He has never been more than a step away from Herman Moore all night.
And Herman Moore came into the game leading the NFL in both catches and yards, 57 for 804. Doug Evans has been his shadow. Underneath to Morton. He gets it out to the 34. The Lions can't stop the clock anymore. And Green Bay will let them have all the underneath stuff they can take.
The Packers will try and keep the Lions in bounds on any plays that are completed.
Mitchell, the quick out to Sloan, and again, the ball goes by him before he has his head turned.
David Sloan's had a real tough time finding the football. Mitchell tried to get him on a quick slant earlier in the 3rd quarter. Didn't happen. Now this one here goes flying by him. You got to try and pick up bigger chunks, though, Mike. I mean, there's 59 seconds left in the game. You're down by 10. If you're going to make any kind of a run, you need a 25, 30-yarder right here.
Comes the blitz. Mitchell throws, incomplete. Between 2 receivers, neither one of whom had turned their head.
Yeah, but what a great job by Fritz Shermer. He's not going to sit back in that prevent defense. That time, he brought the corner up outside, right in Mitchell's face, so he had to unload it quick.
Fritz is not going to quit, even with a 10-point lead and 56 seconds to go.
You know, it's good to see this, too, from a defensive coach. A lot of times you lay back with the lead. I think you got to keep pressure on the quarterback. Don't give him that soft zone to throw big completions into.
Here comes another blitz. Mitchell got away from Butler, and this one is knocked away by Tyrone Williams. He was right on top of Johnny Morton. If Green Bay holds on to win this ball game, let's give you a look at the updated standings in the NFC Central. The Packers would tie Minnesota for the lead. Tampa Bay only one game behind. Detroit would fall to 4-5. And of course, Chicago buried in the cellar at 1-8.
Of course, Tampa Bay with a gutsy win today, but Indianapolis fumbling the ball, going in late in the game. Just Lindy watching another one slide away on him.
Mitchell under pressure again. He'll get what he can. He get out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Only 43 seconds left.
You got to get some bigger chunks, Mike. That's all there is to it here. You know, what Fritz is doing is Fritz is thinking the same thing. I'm not going to let you have time to throw for big chunks. I'm going to make you get rid of the football, Scott Mitchell, and in a hurry.
Under pressure, there's another sack. They bring him down at the 40-yard line. Keith McKenzie, who has become a pass rushing specialist this year, as Seth Joyner has gone in to start at left outside linebacker. He gets his first sack of the season.
2nd and 16.
Clock running. Mitchell short set to Moore. Williams was right there. And the Lions are about out of chances. Mitchell to Sloan. He'll get out of bounds at the Green Bay 45 with only 5 seconds left. Joe, you did something before the game. It must have been quite a thrill for you.
Yes, it was. As a matter of fact, you know, anytime you score a touchdown, you're a Packer at Lambeau Field. You get a chance to take the Lambeau leap. Now, I didn't get all the way in. I'll grant that. There have been some that have been better, but I'll guarantee you there have been some that have been worse.
You gave it your best shot.
They couldn't get that big old butt up into the old stands. I figure I'd say it before you did.
Here's the bad part. I wasn't going to say it.
That was the camera angle, Mike.
Yeah, right. 5 seconds left. Mitchell airs it out. Nothing but Packers. Intercepted by Leroy Butler. His second of the night. The fourth off of Scott Mitchell. Our final score, the Packers 20, the Lions 10. Coming up next, Sports Center, Dan Patrick and Kenny Mayne. The top stories